The weather forecast with Akendogas.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and thank you for making our time to join me once more on this edition of the weather forecast. I hope you are having a beautiful evening. We will, between tonight and tomorrow morning, expect moderate to heavy rainfall in some parts of the nation, like the southwest, southwest, and the littoral regions. We are looking at as low as 16 degrees in the northwest, the southwest, Adamawa, and the east regions, expecting a minimum temperature of 19 degrees, and the center and south regions getting as low as 21 degrees. Onto the littoral tonight, we expect heavy rainfall in the town of Konsamba, and by morning, light rainfall will prevail over the littoral region. Now we go to the north, where this evening there would be no possibility of precipitation in the entire region, and by morning the north region would experience exactly the same situation. Lastly, onto the west this evening, there will be light rainfall experienced throughout the region, and by morning it will be exactly the same situation in the west region. Now, to protect yourself and others against the coronavirus, you should avoid touching your face, and you should cough with a flexed elbow, and call the number 1510 in case of any symptoms. Thank you for watching, and good night.
Agenda. A Chinese billionaire donates a consignment of medical equipment to accompany Cameroon in its ongoing fight against the ravaging coronavirus. Cameroonian senators renew the bureau of their chamber, with Marcel NIAT Njifenji returning as president and Abubakari Abdullahi as the senior vice. Those are our top stories. Hello and welcome to the 7:30 News. I am Ben Menopufong. Government has upheld the rapid tracking of suspected cases as being crucial in stemming the spread of the coronavirus in Cameroon. The position was mooted at today's cabinet meeting chaired by Prime Minister Joseph John Gute, during which it came out that the number of confirmed COVID-19 cases in the country has risen to 88. Sisako Tamko reports on the major outcomes of the meeting that also devoted time for the review of projects that fall within the portfolio of Sino-Cameroon relations.
Although it fell on the usual last Thursday reserved for the monthly cabinet meeting, the session chaired by Prime Minister John Gute at the auditorium, where social distancing was observed, had enough indication to suggest that this was another crisis meeting to resolve the corona saga. Health Minister Dr. Manuada Malachi gave a progress report on the situation on the ground, for the most part tracking down the infected and bringing them out of the community.
We have just tried to have more equipment, more tests, and to do a large spectrum of tests here. So in the few days now, we are going to track more small contacts in Douala first, Yaoundé second, and Bafoussam.
Donations from business magnate Jack Ma of Alibaba Foundation is assisting in this endeavor with the arrival of some equipment. As of now, 84 cases are recorded and 80 are responding positively to treatment.
They are very fine. They are fine. Just one of them who is in oxygen therapy now. We have one again who have just factor of comorbidity, but all of them they are fine. They just be then to not be in the community.
Minister of Economy Planning Alamin Usman May, who shared the state of cooperation with China, disclosed a portfolio about 3,300 billion CFA invested in sectoral areas of strategy in line with the 2035 vision, which unfortunately were not executed.
Some have gone beyond the time framework dedicated for their implementation. Others have been executed with a budget beyond what was probably planned at the beginning. This is signaling certainly some impediments, some weaknesses in the implementation.
Impediments in which the head of government gave firm instructions
to suspend all new operations while focusing on the projects which have been which are in the process of being implemented. We need to revise our maturation and programming process. We need to be more disciplined. We need to be well prepared prior to putting all these projects in our project bank. We have to build up a very strong capacity in terms of monitoring, following up, and adjusting decisions to be taken if needed.
In full collaboration with other departments facing the COVID pandemic, there's a reflection at the regional and international level on how countries can cope without being in a difficult situation with respect to their debt services. Sisako Tamko, CRTV, the Star Building.
The Cameroon government has received a consignment of the much-needed medical equipment to check the spread of the coronavirus in the country. The package that arrived on board a special Ethiopian airline flight this morning and donated by Chinese business magnate of the Jack Ma Foundation was received on behalf of the government by the Secretary General of the Ministry of Public Health, Professor Sinata Kulashiro. Gerald Nanje was privy to the special delivery.
Cameroon is just one amongst the 54 African states to benefit from these health kits for the fight against the coronavirus. On hand to receive the material this Thursday via the Yaoundé-Simalène International Airport on board the Ethiopian cargo flight was the Secretary General at the Ministry of Public Health, flanked by other officials.
It's really timely. At the time we are now reaching, we have an expansion. As you know, all over the world where you have the COVID-19, the personnel is at risk. And so this equipment is really timely.
This transaction has received the approval of the World Health Organization and other partners.
Today, Cameroon is receiving its donation. The donation is going to boost the capacity of the system to respond to the needs of the community in terms of protecting the people who are caring for patients, but also the capacity to do more tests. We are with the Director General of Centre Pasteur du Cameroon, so she knows very well how urgent this equipment is needed to be able to really go to scale in tracking people who may have the virus, isolate them, track their contact. So that's really where we are going to defeat the virus.
The benevolence gesture has come to reignite hope of a possible eradication of the deadly COVID-19 in the country.
Ever since the outbreak of the COVID-19 pandemic in Cameroon, administrative response to the infectious disease is becoming more and more evident in most offices. From hand-washing facilities to disinfectants, through the cleaning of common space, workplaces in the nation's capital are now quick in implementing safety measures to counter the killer virus. Beatrice Losamba went watching how these scenarios are playing out in some public administrations in Yaoundé and brought back the story.
Washing hands. The first thing workers and visitors to government ministries do as soon as they reach the work premise. Every morning when we arrive, we wash our hands. When we step out even for a second, we wash. And on our way in, we wash again. The new addition in these structures, the wash hand basin. A tap that never runs dry and a towel to dry hands. Everyone, irrespective of class or status, respects this ritual, which found its way through the door created to boot the coronavirus out.
It is an obligation and instruction of the minister, who personally makes sure it is respected.
Safety measures to counter coronavirus in administrative buildings are multiplied with time. Hand sanitizers, alcohol and disinfectants for offices. Social distancing measures follow suit. 2 persons per lift. Hallways free of crowds. The ministry's courtyard, unusually bare. In-person interactions with public service users is limited in these offices. Quiet sweeps across, and educative posters greet one from the doors. Everything that reminds it is dire to create barriers to the highly contagious coronavirus.
And it is the entire health structure in Cameroon that has come under pressure with the arrival of the ravaging COVID-19. Health workers are on the front line, working round the clock to save fellow compatriots carrying the virus, irrespective of the risks of being contaminated themselves. Joyce Kimbi-Fawajo now pays a glowing tribute to these health workers who are putting their lives on the line to save others from perishing.
Truly heroes of the time. Nurses, doctors, medical cleaners, medical staff in general. Tributes have been pouring in to these frontline workers in the fight against the deadly pandemic. That health workers don't enjoy at the time, appreciate them for their sacrifice, dedication and patience in braving all odds to saving humanity from the noisome pestilence.
After everything, they are not afraid of those patients. They are doing everything possible to take care of them, and they are not afraid of the coronavirus. So the only thing we can do is to clap for them.
We really appreciate them for the work that they are doing. It's only God who can pay them, who cannot even pay them. They are patient. So we are praying for them that they should continue to take care for our patients. God will bless them.
Others say the public and the state in general owe them an act of gratitude beyond words.
So if you see a doctor having all the sacrifice to help those who have coronavirus, I think that the government should do extra mile to help the doctors.
Some joined the tribute to the medical staff at war against the virus with concerns that might overwhelm them if basics are not provided them.
You have to give them protective gear, you have to give them the right training and brief them as far as the new enemy is concerned.
Thumbs up for the white blues as they selflessly stand at the forefront in the fight against the COVID-19 outbreak.
As the killer pandemic continues to take its toll on humanity, the social media continues to lead and entertain controversies over the effectiveness of some of the cures and antidotes being proposed by specialists. A case in point is the use of chloroquine, which some school of thoughts hold can cure the virus, while others are in total negation of its curative effects. Separating facts from myths is what our reporter Cynthia Saptala presents in the following story.
With the coronavirus today affecting more than 190 countries and territories around the world, separating the facts from myths is crucial in sensitizing the population. Till date, there are some skeptics who believe that the COVID-19 virus affects only older people.
That's a myth. It affects everybody. It doesn't affect only older people. It's just that with older people, we have seen that older people have other comorbidities, so their manifestations are usually worse or more severe than younger people.
Many also believe that chloroquine can treat the coronavirus.
It's true that some studies have shown that some people had taken chloroquine and they were effective, but as of now, there is no concrete evidence.
Some others still debate on whether a face mask does protect one from the disease.
When you have a face mask, you're kind of a bit uncomfortable. So touching the face mask regularly, you're trying to introduce your hands to your face.
And that some individuals do not present any symptoms of the virus.
First 10 days or first 14 days, they may not have a fever, they may have just a runny nose, and not all the classic symptoms of coronavirus.
What of the fact that one must be with or around someone with the virus for at least 10 minutes to get the disease?
If you're close to someone who just sneezes here, you can actually pick it up. It doesn't have to be, you don't have to stay in their presence for about 10 to 5 minutes.
Or that everyone dies of the coronavirus.
Not everyone will die from coronavirus. Some people will actually survive from it.
Medical doctors insist that spraying alcohol or chlorine on the skin may instead cause harm if it enters the eyes or mouth, and that losing the ability to taste or smell can be a symptom if and only if one was in contact with an infected person.
And Cameroon's Trade Minister Luc Margloire Tangana has again reiterated the state's resolve to ensure that basic commodities do not run dry while inhabitants battle the coronavirus. He was speaking after visiting wholesale and retail outlets in the nation's capital today. Clarissa Ray Takan reports on the message that the minister had for the owners of the business outlets he visited, especially at this critical moment in the life of the nation.
From the availability of products to the respect of measures put in place to stem the spread of the coronavirus, managers of major retail outlets confess that their customers have been showing exemplary behavior. They are guided through these by staff present to ensure that they do not skirt past the rules they must submit themselves to. While most expressed satisfaction at what they say is a necessity, others are yet to come to terms with the new. Trade officials, for their part, insist that no stone will be left unturned to avert a food crisis.
In general, those measures are respected. The problem is with the open market. They have to know also that the rules have to be applied to any actor in the market. At the same time, yes, I confirm that products are available, main products, sanitary products, as you have said, but also food. All the products are available, and the price also has not changed.
Meanwhile, in the markets, vendors who embarked on the speculation game were called to order. The main challenge, though, remains ensuring that users adhere to the social distancing measures essential in checking the spread of the coronavirus. The role of municipal authorities in enforcing this was thus re-emphasized.
And the global statistics on the coronavirus continue to be on a steady and dangerous climb. As of today, WHO sources indicate that more than 494,000 people are currently infected worldwide, with 22,000 others dead already. As Romeo Kenyan now reports, the good news, however, is that close to 120,000 people have recovered from the infection. Romeo?
This is how total statistics of infected, dead, and persons who have recovered of COVID-19 in the world looked like when we wrote this report. At the time, medics are working endlessly to minimize the death and contamination figures on the planet. Over 17,769 critical cases have been reported this Thursday. As of what the situation is on the African continent per facts gathered a couple of minutes ago, the spread of the pandemic continues to dominate in the Maghrebian countries. Egypt and Algeria have each recorded 21 deaths, with more than 300 tainted citizens. Morocco follows with 225 infected persons, 6 dead, and 7 persons cured. Tunisia counts 200 tainted individuals, 6 dead, and 2 persons who have recovered of the pandemic. The conditions are almost similar in Burkina Faso, as the government can boast of having cured 10 persons in the over 152 infected persons. On the global scale, efforts are being multiplied in Italy to cap death figures that are now estimated at 7,503, the highest on the planet. China tallies 81,285 infected people in the world, the highest per these facts. Figures have also been modified in Spain, Iran, and France, some of the most affected countries by the coronavirus. These facts continue to change as cases are being reported by health officials.
The food manufacturing and processing company OK Foods has donated the sum of 10 million CFA funds to the Ministry of Public Health as contribution to fight the spread of the coronavirus in Cameroon. According to the senior management of the company, the gesture is aimed at enabling the state effectively implement preventive measures to keep the population safe from the COVID-19 disease. Colette Jani reports from CRTV Center.
This is an unprecedented time for Cameroonians and everyone around the world. As the coronavirus spreads with increasing number of those infected, every day brings new questions and new concerns. In a bid to help the government curb the further spread of the virus in Cameroon, OK Foods, a food manufacturing and processing company, has donated a sum of CFA 10 million francs to the Ministry of Public Health.
We are a citizen enterprise, so it's very important for OK Food to support the government at this crucial moment to continue the fight against coronavirus.
Representing the Minister, the Secretary General at the Ministry of Public Health, Professor Sinata Shiro, thanks OK Foods CAM for the humanitarian gesture to help fight the pandemic in the country.
I'm happy because we discuss and we just be theoretical. Any concrete action, so that I invite all of the enterprises to follow this OK Food example, and invite also Cameroonians to be veritable citizens and follow and respect the governmental instructions.
With over 22 years of existence, OK Foods Cameroon, which produces milk, biscuits, chips, just to name but these, have promised the Ministry of Public Health that through its social responsibility policies, it will continue to contribute in the fight against the spread of the COVID virus in Cameroon.
Permanent Bureau to conduct the affairs of the Senate for the 2020 legislative year has been elected. Marcel NIAT, who returns as President of the Senate, and the Senior Vice President, Aboubakari Abdullahi, obtained the renewed confidence of the senators during elections organized today. Christian Chair Atam brings us the details of Election Day at the Senate.
When the head of the Provisional Bureau of the Senate called for the manifestation of candidacies for the post of President of the Senate for the 2020 legislative year during this Wednesday's plenary session, only the name of Senator Marcel NIAT was suggested by the leader of the CPDM parliamentary group at the Senate.
9, 10, 11.
The election that ensued saw the incumbent Senate President confirmed in the same position by 88 votes in his favor as against 10 void ballots. In his acceptance speech, the pioneer President of the Senate promised to merit the confidence placed on him. He pledged to work always in the interest of the country and for a return to normalcy in the southwest and northwest regions. The newly elected President of the Senate then went on to conduct the election of other members of the Permanent Bureau of the Senate for the 2020 legislative year. Senator Aboubakari Abdullahi was chosen as first Vice President of the Senate, with the other 4 Vice Presidents being Chief Tabe Tandon Diamso of the CPDM from the southwest, Senators Choues Geneviève of the CPDM from the littoral, and Keze Emilia Nkalebong of the SDF from the northwest, and Sylvestre Na Ondwa of the CPDM from the center. The 17-man Permanent Bureau of the Senate for the 2020 legislative year, which also comprises 3 quaestors and 8 secretaries, is pretty much the same bureau as that of last year.
Over in the National Assembly, the Permanent Bureau that was elected during the statutory ordinary session of the 10th legislative period has been maintained to chair proceedings throughout the 2020 legislative year. This was during a plenary sitting today presided over by the eldest member of the House, Laurentine Kouamfegembede, in conformity with the standing orders of the National Assembly. Esther Kema reports that the plenaries took place in the strict respect of measures put in place to contain the coronavirus in Cameroon.
Accessing the glass palace for everyone requires committing to the rules recommended by governments to check the spread of the coronavirus. From hand washing to sanitizing, they are also subjected to a quick temperature check.
With this request fulfilled, the lawmakers, some opting for masks, readily set for the plenary sitting dedicated to the election of the Permanent Bureau of the National Assembly in a special dispensation of not more than 50 members present at the House chamber. The eldest member of the House, Honorable Laurentine Kwamfegebede, presiding, reminded the legislators of the provisions of the standing orders of the National Assembly that bind the election. Recalling Section 17, she outlined the uninominal ballots for the Speaker and Senior Deputy Speaker and the common list presented by political parties represented at the Assembly for the positions of 5 Deputy Speakers, 4 Questors and 12 Secretaries. While underscoring that Section 17 sub 9 stipulates that the Permanent Bureau elected during the session as of right shall remain in office until a new Bureau is elected for the next legislative year, she enjoined the current House Speaker, Honorable Kavege Jibril, to take command as he hailed the Provisional Bureau for chairing the previous sittings. Honorable Kavege Jibril read out the complete list of the 23-member Bureau, unchanged, now fully empowered to preside over the proceedings of the House, to organize its activities, and to represent the National Assembly at public ceremonies.
Let's stay in politics to announce that the Constitutional Council has received 12 petitions from the Social Democratic Front, the SDF, requesting the total cancellation of the March 22nd partial legislative election in some parts of the Northwest and Southwest regions. All petitions were deposited before the 72-hour deadline prescribed by the law. Quinta Rita Edan reports on the nature of the petitions.
The 12 petitions tabled before the Constitutional Council are from the Social Democratic Front, the SDF, in some parts of Mezam, Momo, Bui, and Menchum divisions, all in the Northwest region, as well as Lebialem in the Southwest region. The different candidates are contesting the victory of the CPDM, saying the exercise was characterized by serious irregularities. The complaint that the delocalization of the polling stations by Ilekam and camping them into a few co-located polling centers in all the constituencies disenfranchised electors. In Mezam South, for example, the complainant raised the fact that the concentration of polling stations in Santa Town discouraged many voters who had to trek for more than 40 kilometers from other villages to perform the exercise under the prevailing insecurity situation in the subdivision. The SDF candidates referred to Article 96 of the Electoral Code, which states that Ilekam shall draw up the list of polling stations for every council with not more than 500 electors per polling station. In the petition from the SDF candidate in Lebialem, he indicated that the electors in the different villages were not informed of Elekam's decision to delocalize the polling stations. Meantime, the different councillors are keeping themselves abreast with the petitions ahead of a public hearing to scrutinize the litigations.
On to other developments now, the Cameroon Radio, Television and the Kribi Industrialization Foundation have partnered to sell the projects of the investment institution on all CRTV platforms. The target of the foundation is to attract 40 investors yearly to the seaside resort of Kribi. CRTV's Director General Charles Ndongo signed the partnership agreement on behalf of the corporation, while Rodrigue Ongolo Onambele appended his signature on the document as the founder of the foundation. Rainato Sali reports.
By putting pen on paper, the Cameroon Radio Television is accepting to sell the projects of the Kribi Industrialization Foundation on all its TV, radio and social media platforms.
CRTV has the potential of selling our project because of its numerous radio and TV programs. I think with the CRTV, we will definitely be known.
The first phase of the project by the Kribi Industrialization Foundation seeks to attract 40 investors per year for the next 25 years. Investors will have 26,000 hectares of land at their disposal to use for all manner of projects in this seaside town, which is opening up the more with the construction of a deep sea port, express roads, and other facilities that will promote regional exchange.
Our
foundation wants to accompany the head of state in his development drive. Kribi has a lot of openings, so that is why we went to begin by attracting 40 investors a year.
That CRTV should offer its support to such a project makes it one worth watching out for in the coming days and years.
Road construction companies in Cameroon have been urged to seek the expertise of the Cameroon Water Utilities Corporation, CAMWater, before embarking on some projects. This follows the wanton destruction of water pipes in some neighborhoods during the construction of roads, a situation which has led to an interruption of potable water supply in these neighborhoods. Minette Ponwe reports from CRTV Center.
The recent outbreak of coronavirus pandemic has obviously led to an increase in the use of water. This unfortunately is happening at a time when some neighborhoods like Etikta or Yomabang and a source have gone for days without water.
Since Saturday, there is no water at Yomabang, so I've been trying since Saturday. I've been trying looking for water everywhere. We even went to the Ankara water right at Carrefour Meg. We have been asking why have they seized water now that they say that they have to wash hands with clean water. So we're just there, we don't know what to do.
The persistent lack of water in some neighborhoods is caused by the construction of road networks.
So many construction works are ongoing in some neighborhoods, and it has led to shortage of water supply due to destruction and displacement of water supply systems.
Again, most construction companies hardly respect the Prime Ministerial Decree of March 2014.
Decree number 2014/0521/PM of 19 March 2014 on the regulations of intervention on road networks in urban settings, which stipulates that in case a contractor, that is a moral person, destroys a system, he has up to 30 days from the day of destruction to rehabilitate the system. The non-respect of this law has a lot of consequences on both the population and the reputation of CAMWater.
Road contractors are advised to contact CAMWater before engaging in any works in order to prevent the destruction and displacement of water pipes and other supply systems.
We now take you over to the Emergency Operations Center set up exclusively to monitor the evolution of the COVID-19 situation in Cameroon. And our lady who is out there for the 7:30 news is Emanuela Vermue. Hello, Emanuela. Tell us, what is the latest from that your end?
Hello, Ben. You're coming over here just a few minutes after the end of the press briefing by the Minister of Public Health, Malauda Marashi. He is giving tidbits on the current situation of the crisis in the country. He confirms 88 COVID cases now in Cameroon, 60 in Yaoundé, 35 or 25 rather in Douala, and 3 cases, of course, in Bafoussam. He equally confirms 2 deaths so far. One, Mr. Mokuriasho, who, after post-mortem carried on him, was discovered that he died of COVID-19. This brings the number thus to 2. He equally confirms that the 2 others who regained their health were fully integrated into their families and they are doing well. The Minister of Public Health has, however, called on the public to remain vigilant and practice the basic rules of hygiene and the measures equally prescribed by the government to stop the spread of the disease in Cameroon. I'm now joined by Dr. Fanuel Habimana. He is the country director of WHO for Cameroon. Good evening, sir.
Good evening, madam.
Tell us, you work with the World Health Organization. How is the World Health Organization assisting the Cameroon government to fight against this pandemic?
Thank you. The World Health Organization is assisting Cameroon as all other member states of WHO in really providing technical guidance. Remember, this is a new disease. We are just 3 months into the disease. And so WHO had to really work around the clock to develop guidelines in all sorts of areas, case management, surveillance, laboratories, communication, logistics. So the WHO has provided the technical guidance of member states on how to deal with this disease, including the areas that I've mentioned. In addition, WHO is providing support to member states from the global level to the regional level, but also at country level. So our office had to scale the support that is needed in order to help the government of Cameroon to really respond to this disease. For instance, we brought in 4 experts. 1 expert to serve as an incident manager, 1 expert expert in infection control and prevention, 1 expert in logistics, and 1 expert in risk communication. In addition to that, WHO, of course, as a member of the family of the partners for health, so think of the whole UN system, bilateral partners, World Bank, USAID, CDC. So all these partners, through our own coordination, we are really scaling up our support to make sure that the government of Cameroon has all it requires to respond to this outbreak.
So you are a medical doctor and living in the Cameroonian context. How do you appreciate or appraise the level of application of the basic rules of hygiene, washing hands with soap, and the measures taken by the Cameroon government to tame the spread of this virus?
Okay, the response and to be efficacious, they have 2 areas of work. There are measures related to defending, as our Director General mentioned, all measures related to social distancing, not having a crowd of people, washing hands. All these measures are made to really slow down the spread of the epidemic. But what to really stop the epidemic is to find the people who are infected, test them, isolate them, provide them with treatment, look for the contact, and isolate them or quarantine them. So the measure that related to really finding the people who are infected, treating them, and isolating those their contact, those are the 2 pillars on which the response is mounted. And of course, at this level of epidemic in Cameroon, we are talking about 88 cases, 2 deaths, 2 recovery. So if the community can really listen to what the government is saying, that you should wash your hands many times a day, you should avoid crowd. When you go in the shop, you should not be crowded. So all these measures, stopping sport events, schools are closed. So all these measures, if they are respected to the letter, will really, plus the other arm of looking for infected people, isolating them, treating them, finding their contact. So the combination of these measures will really help Cameroon not to scale to the level that we have seen in other countries. And the situation of Cameroon is not different from most of the African countries. So those are the mystery of this outbreak, why it has not really escalated at the level that we have seen in other continents. So we believe that if these measures are respected, we will be able to contain the outbreak.
Thank you very much, Dr. Ben. You just heard from him. Now the minister ended his press briefing by emphasizing that the toll-free number 1510 remains open. He took an example of 6 a.m. today to 6 p.m. that received 1,474 calls only for today. He has equally announced the reception of diagnostic kits and as well as protective equipments from the Chinese donor that shall be deployed to the 10 regions of the country to serve the purpose of stopping the spread of COVID-19 in Cameroon. Reporting live, Emmanuel Avamnu.
Thank you very much, Emanuela, and your guests for all of those updates there. And you're reporting live from the Emergency Operations Center. And it is on that note with Emanuela Vernier that we are concluding this edition of the 7:30 news for today and for the week. Tomorrow you'll be in company